You can't not show up and participate in the process and then complain about what happens after the fact, right? I know with my own children, I made sure to impart to them early in their life that you don't just complain about something and don't attempt to solve it.
That's right.
It's why I'm currently running for DA, because I could complain all day about the problems that I saw and the things that I thought needed to be addressed, but if I didn't stand up and do something,
You're the solution, bringing a solution.
then what is that? What am I?
Hi friends, my name is Coco, and today I thought I'd take the opportunity to meet one of the Nueces County District Attorney candidates. Her name is Kristi Britt, and we're going to learn why she is the perfect candidate to fit this role. Please welcome Miss Kristi.
Thank you, Coco. It is great to be here. So as you said, I am a candidate. I'm a Republican candidate for Nueces County District Attorney. My husband and I moved to Corpus in 1998 with 2 children in tow. I am a mother of 4, a grandmother of 3, and I am also a Nueces County Assistant District Attorney.
Awesome. Well, I'm a mom of twins.
Oh my goodness.
When you say a mom of 4, I'm like, okay, she knows like there's a lot of stuff happening, so she feels that. Mm-hmm. With that being said, what was a motivating factor for you to want to run for the district attorney's office?
Well, there were several things that motivated me to run. Little things, throughout my time in the office there. Mm-hmm. I believe the final straw for me was when the previous district attorney decided that he was going to contest a prior judgment by a jury. It involved a death penalty. And I just could not, I didn't understand it. I don't believe that that's appropriate. I think that personal feelings concerning certain aspects of the criminal justice system are not appropriate. I believe that if the community feels that the death penalty was appropriate in this case, it is not up to me as a district attorney to override that. Well, so that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for me.
And that's hard because you have to stick by the rules, like you're saying. Your personal feelings can't get involved.
Absolutely.
And for you, you have to take that position. It's this or that.
Exactly.
It has also been reported that the elimination of the CIU would be a benefit to the community. What is your response to that? So
I believe that we need to evaluate appropriately everything in regards to the DA's office. I'm not sure that was done in this case. I do believe that if there are issues, transparency is always a good tool to help alleviate concerns a community might have. I'm concerned that there was no transparency here and that, other things could be done to maybe address any problems that were there. I don't think because Mr. Granberry's predecessor was the one who instituted the program that it's necessarily bad and it has to be done away with immediately. I think a good example of maybe making those kinds of decisions is what we've seen happen with the border and the removal of a policy just because your predecessor had it. So I believe that evaluating each program on its merits, fixing the problems, if there are any, is the best approach.
As we're talking about what it means to be a district attorney, what is the role of the district attorney? And if any, what is that role in the community? What kind of policies does a district attorney have? And what does a district attorney impact?
Okay. So the district attorney in Nueces County prosecutes all crimes. So anything that the DA's office does is going to be related to a crime issue. How we combat crime, how we bring justice for crime. So within the office, the DA really kind of impacts in that the DA in this county is in charge of a very large law firm, basically. All budgeting, all hiring issues, any court-related issues that come up, staffing. We have to make sure that the courts are staffed. You don't want the court calling a case and the state not being there and appearing. So if there are staff shortages, the DA is going to have to step in and make sure those things are covered.
And that's you. You're going to step in doing that.
That will be me. Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
What I would say with regards to the impact that the DA would have outside, I hear this a lot. We don't make the laws, right? We're not a legislative branch. Those laws are made in Austin. The job of the DA is to enforce the law without fear or favor. And that is exactly what I intend to do.
Without fear or favor, what the law says, that's it. And that's your job as a Nueces County District Attorney to do that, to impact said laws.
That is correct.
It's a good job. I feel like I didn't realize that the DA was in charge of hiring, making sure, all of those things. You just think that you're in charge of you walked in, you did the case, and you left. So actually the DA wears many hats. Many hats.
And, the goal of the DA would be to bring good people in around them that help support that. But at the end of the day, the DA is the one that's responsible for all of it.
Right.
I mean, I am not a micromanager, but I am a hands-on person. So, if we're hiring prosecutors, which I have hired quite a few in my time at the DA's office, I want to personally have a hand in that. I want to know the person that I'm bringing on who's going to represent the DA's office and the community as a whole. So I want to know those people. I want to be an involved district attorney. I am going to be present and involved.
Sounds like you're going to have a good relationship with everybody that you're going to be working with, which I think is very, very important. Like as a mother, I want to have a relationship with all my kids, who they're with, and just
Absolutely.
All of that stuff, and communication with all those people too.
Absolutely. And I will say too, on that topic and having those relationships with those people, being a prosecutor is a very difficult job sometimes.
Can't even imagine.
And relationships forged in those moments are relationships that you will have forever.
And what y'all do is, I feel like you can't Google that. There's you're saying, those relationships and that person you build that, who is your partner during court.
Absolutely.
You're trying to bring things to justice, and there's a lot of emotions tied with that.
Absolutely. And those people in that office share your passion. To do that job. You don't do that job because you make money at it. You do that job because you want to be a part of something and you want to help.
Just like you're choosing to run for the Nueces County District Attorney.
Correct.
Like you want to come in and do these things that you see, and you're like, how can I fix this, make it better for all of us together? Because at the end of the day, when you get into the courtroom,
that's right.
That's what's going to happen, and it's better if we're all on the same page.
I want to make improvements so that our impact in the community is felt and appreciated.
That's good. That's right. That's what you want in the community. You want people to feel safe, and that you have people that look over them and take care of them.
Absolutely.
That's what mamas do too.
That's right. That's right.
What is it that makes you, and we've been talking about this, uniquely qualified? Because I've heard some things, but what makes you uniquely qualified against any of your competitors that are also running for the district attorney's office? What sets you apart?
What I believe sets me apart is that I've worn many hats. Mom, I've been a secretary. I've supervised offices. I helped my husband open a medical practice. I worked in oil and gas for 13 years. I supervised people. I've led due diligence teams. I've been responsible for $1 million budgets.
Wow.
I've done hundreds of $1 million in transactions in oil and gas.
Wow.
And so I believe that is what sets me apart from my two opponents. One of them has been a line prosecutor for 30 years. He's been in that job. No supervisory responsibility. He's just been a prosecutor. And while I recognize that and I applaud it, you need somebody who has leadership experience, who knows how to manage large groups, large budgets, large personalities. And in oil and gas, I perfected that, being one of very few women.
I was going to say that's a different kind of industry. So when a woman walks into that, it's like, okay,
Absolutely.
I'm here. Kristi Britt's here to do this. So
I did. I
which
had
says
to
a lot,
establish
too.
myself.
Yeah.
And I did. I did. I
great.
was very successful in that area. I remain friends with many of those people because, again, relationships forged in, conflict are usually ones that maintain throughout time. So, and, my other opponent, I've been a prosecutor longer than he was, roughly. And as a defense attorney for 29 years, I think that, that is a different mindset. I think we've seen enough of defense attorneys being head prosecutors in a county, and we see what that does. We need a strong-minded prosecutor to lead this office.
More on staffings. I know we spent some time on how there's just not enough staffing, when it comes to the district attorney's office and the prosecutors, and how we need to have more staffing. How many cases do y'all typically have, and how many prosecutors are in the house right now?
So on average, we have approximately 12,000 criminal cases a year in Nueces County, roughly 7,000 misdemeanor cases, and approximately 4,000 felony cases. So your misdemeanors are like your DWI 1 and 2, domestic violence, assaults, simple assaults, thefts, and then your felonies. So 12,000 cases with approximately, we have 8 district courts, right? We have 4 county courts. We staff typically 1 prosecutor per county court. I believe we have 2 currently. And we try to staff 2 prosecutors per felony court, with the exception of 1 court. So that is approximately 15 prosecutors.
I was trying to do the math. I'm like, okay, so we're at 15.
So it's approximately 15 prosecutors. I believe we are at 9 or 10 line prosecutors right now. We do have chiefs that can and should step in and help, but the chiefs can't carry a caseload like your normal line prosecutor would. And so those difficulties in staffing and things like that, they do have an impact, which is why one of my goals, the focus initially, is good staffing. Because when there is a shortage of prosecutors, I know that it impacts the community, usually not in a positive way. I have heard people talking about they feel like it's a revolving door for criminals, in particular repeat offenders. So one of the things that I intend to address as the next district attorney is a culture change I feel that needs to happen in the office. We 100% abide by and honor the Constitution, and I, like everyone, believe that defendants have a right of due process. They are innocent until they're proven guilty.
Right.
There are things that can be done to make sure that the community is safe while these cases are pending. And I think that a lot of times when there's a shortage, the focus is on moving through it and getting through it as opposed to what impact the action may have. And so I believe that I intend to address that culturally in the office. And hopefully the goal is to bring about a change that the community will really feel.
Yes, because I also hear the same thing about it's the same people, it's the same stuff. But if the math ain't mathin', if you have that many cases and this many prosecutors, or you can see where it's like, how is this slipping, or how did that happen, or what? And it's not that it's right or it's wrong.
Right.
And that's what you're saying too. You're not going to do the fair or the favor. What was that saying that
That's
yours? Because
correct.
it's so good.
Because all of the laws must be enforced. And the DA and all the prosecutors must enforce all of the laws without fear or favor. We don't pick the ones that we want to enforce. Our community said, these are the rules with which we all must abide. I follow the law. I fully expect that everybody else will. And if they don't, we have a duty to see that justice is done. And so that starts very early in the process. And I can assure you that I know, sometimes those prosecutors are very overwhelmed.
I'm sure.
But I assure you that never at all do they think, well, the community, we don't care about the community. It's never about that. It's about literally having the time to get through them thoughtfully,
About how many cases do the line prosecutors have?
Well, they have all of those.
Oh, all okay. So
Yes,
again,
ma'am.
the math ain't
That's
math,
okay.
and see,
Yeah,
so
that's
like that
correct.
is, I don't know what I was thinking.
That's correct. So we have, the line prosecutors are the people that show up to court every day, right? And so most of the courts will have 2 to 3 days where they do criminal cases, right? The line prosecutor gets what the court calls a docket, and they go through these cases and figure out, whatever the hearing is for, they have to address each one, whether it's a bond reduction hearing, if it's a motion to revoke probation, whatever they're being seen for on that day, the prosecutor has to go through and work every single one of those cases, go to court, announce, and be ready to proceed on every one of those cases. I remember being in County Court 3 at one point and having a 21-page docket.
Wow.
21 pages, front and back of cases.
Wow.
So it's a big job.
Yeah.
It is a big job. But it's a doable job, and it's a great job.
And you're going to do the job.
I'm going to do the job.
Who knew, though, that staffing would trickle all the way down into making the community safer? Like that we have enough prosecutors, we have enough staff to support the DA's office so that when it comes down to those offenders, that they don't have that revolving door, so that we can get out to the community, because we know that we have the district attorney's office working in our favor as a community, so we can go out and, not that we're not worried and all guards down, but it's like we know that we're living in a community, that we have a DA that is living for us. I want to know, and I want to make sure that everybody else, when they talk about Corpus Christi, I want to make sure that they can say with confidence that Corpus Christi is a great place. It's a safe place to live and work and raise a family. That is my goal. I love that. It's my goal too, girl. Like I live here for that reason. And when I start saying, like, well, wait a minute, hold on. So, and this is when we say, like, your vote matters. This is why it matters. Like,
absolutely,
you have to get out there and vote on March the 5th for Kristi Britt, because if you believe in what she's saying, and that we need more staffing, and we need the relationships built, and we need somebody who's going to mother us in a good way that says, we're not doing that.
That's right.
We're doing this.
That's right.
And this is what the law says.
A leader.
Yes, we need a leader. A compassionate leader, too, that's going to do the things.
Strong and compassionate.
Oh, that should be Kristi
Mamas.
Britt.
Strong and compassionate.
But I know this is something that's really important to you, as you were just continuing talking about relationships, how important they are, and to be the voice of the voiceless. Can you tell us what impacted you the most about your work when you worked for the Child Protection Unit?
Okay. Well, I will tell you that being able to give a child a voice who, up until that point, really did not want to talk about anything, having the ability to bring them to a place where they can confront the person that hurt them and tell them, you can't hurt me anymore, is something that there is no comparison. For me, there is no comparison.
I don't even do that, but I can't think of something that would even compare to that.
I can tell you that as far as my legal profession goes, that has been, without question, the most rewarding part, is being able to basically walk with a child through the process, have them look at me, and when I tell them I'm going to be with you the whole time, if you get scared, look at me.
I got you.
And have them trust in me. And they have, and we've been very successful.
That's great. And that says a lot about what we're talking about, how important is those relationships, because you're right, those children have just things we just can't ever imagine. And for them to trust you, another stranger, an adult, where they feel like they can't trust another adult.
Right.
And they're able to find that with you, and to do that in the courtroom, and to find their words. And that is very powerful. That's very, very important to think that you're going to continue to do that to help so many people throughout the community. I feel like I know what your purpose is, because I can just feel it as you're sharing today with us on why Kristi Britt is running to be the Nueces County District Attorney, one of the candidates. What is your purpose? Because you obviously have to be driven by something more and bigger, because you're, like you said earlier, not somebody's just going to be like, hey, this sounds like fun. I think I want to be a DA. What is your why behind why you want to be the Nueces County DA?
Well, I feel like we've kind of hit on that, right, throughout every topic we've addressed here. But I would tell you that at the core of that, it is to give victims back a voice. I can tell you that in the time I've spent in the DA's office, that has been a consistent issue. It's been a consistent concern that I've heard from people. And I don't believe that the justice system is functioning properly if the people that we are supposed to be seeking justice for and doing good for don't feel empowered, or that they've been given any kind of justice.
Or heard.
In particular. Yes, absolutely. So I would tell you that in addition to giving victims a voice, my purpose is to hold criminals accountable. I think if we just look at our society in general, I think a lot of what we are seeing now is because people have not been held accountable for the things that they do. In particular, when they are breaking the law. We know as mothers that if we do not teach our children boundaries and to respect people and to respect the law, bad things happen. Luckily, as mothers, we get to control that environment. There comes a time when you don't have that luxury anymore. And as a society, we have to be willing to do what is necessary to say, no more. You don't get to hurt someone in our community anymore. You've forfeited your right.
Yeah, you're done.
You're done. So I want to make sure that I can bring accountability to people who break the law. I was talking to someone the other day, and they shared this article with me, and it really resonated with me, and I'm gonna share that with you.
Okay.
The article, and I'm gonna quote it. It was an article in a prosecutor magazine, but basically it said, "It is the prosecutor's job to do good in the purest, simplest sense, to right a wrong, protect those who can't protect themselves, hold the guilty accountable, free the innocent, and make our community safer." That is why I'm running for DA. That is what I intend to do.
When it comes to voting on March the 5th, I know that I vote because I'm a 42-year-old woman. Why is it so important for our younger generation to vote, like the 18-year-olds, the 20-year-olds, the Gen Xers, the millennials? Why is it so important for have their voice heard in these local elections?
Well, I would say that statistically, they're more likely to be victims of crime. So I would think that as a potential victim, I would want to know who's going to be there to hold the person who offends accountable.
Yeah, it's true.
Additionally, I think that younger people will learn eventually that you can't not show up and participate in the process and then complain about what happens after the fact, right? I know with my own children, I made sure to impart to them early in their life that you don't just complain about something and don't attempt to solve it.
That's right.
It's why I'm currently running for DA, because I could complain all day about the problems that I saw and the things that I thought needed to be addressed. But if I didn't stand up and do something,
You're the solution, bringing a solution.
then what is that? What am I? I'm just a complainer.
That's right.
And that's not who I am. I'm a problem solver. So I would tell you that as a young person, as a mother of a young person, I encourage you to participate in the process. You can do something besides just yell
on Facebook
or protest in the street, right? You can show up and elect good people, and they will come through for you. But you have to be a part of the process. The voting is one of those.
And it's easy to vote. It is so easy to vote. So please make sure you're registered to vote. And a lot of 18-year-olds, I don't know. It was something we did in our government class.
Absolutely.
We got registered to vote. I was only 17, so I couldn't wait. I turned 18 that summer, so I couldn't wait to go vote. I thought it was a really cool thing to go vote. And even now, I get proud to get my sticker, go to the schools, go vote. And, like my husband and I, we made our voices be heard. And we have young children's community. And I don't want my children to be some crazy crime victim.
I believe it is understated, the importance of participation in the process, right? I think a lot of what you see nationally and people, the violence that you see and people yelling and screaming is because they don't feel like they have a voice. And they don't understand that their vote is a voice. That it is a voice. And I highly encourage young people.
Yes, we for sure somehow the young people have missed the message of the power of the vote. Like I know we usually say rock the vote when it comes like the big presidential stuff, but these elections, these small, quote unquote, small elections, the local ones count so much. And you're right. I tell my children that too. Like, hold on, before you come to me, do we have like an idea of a solution that's going to fix said problem with your sister?
Absolutely.
Like, what does that look like?
Absolutely.
So bottom line, if you're not registered to vote, the young people of Nueces County, do it. It is very easy to get registered to vote. So make sure that happens.
And I would also encourage them to visit the website, and I will have some information on there about how you can register to vote.
And your website is?
www.electKristiBritt.com.
I've really enjoyed spending my time chatting with you. Is there anything else that's left on the table on something that you need to share or something that you want to make sure that the public knows on why you are the most fit candidate to be the next Nueces County District Attorney?
Well, I can tell you that nobody runs for a political office for sheer fun. As I've learned, there are people who seek power who will do almost anything to get it.
To be in office,
Absolutely.
No matter what.
Exactly. The power or a title, to smear your name, basically rip the rug out from under you, without any reflection about who you are, what you've done for the community, with just absolute disregard for anything positive that you've done. It's all because of the power that comes with that office. And I can tell you that is exactly why there are people who should never be in that position. I can tell you that as a mother and as a prosecutor and somebody who sees crime every day, I despise bullies. Criminal bullies, moral bullies, whatever the case is, I'm not going to tolerate it. It's not going to be in the DA's office. I'm not going to tolerate it in the community. So.
And as a mama, you've been dealing with bullies for a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
Like this isn't your first round of bullies.
It is not my first rodeo.
It's not going to be your last. And that's why you're like, I know that I can do this, and I have knee hats. And this is the next one I'm going to put on proudly, and then I'm going to put it on tight, and I'm going to do what I need to do for Nueces County. How can people, obviously, we know this is a campaign that is done by our dollars. We are helping you. The community is helping helping you. How can more people get involved with supporting you, learning more about you? I know that you have a website and you have more things coming up.
Yes. So, I would encourage people to come and visit the website. It is www.electkristibritt.com. You can also reach out to me via email at info@electkristibritt.com. I would love to hear from people. I would love to talk to the community. I intend to be out talking to everybody that I possibly can. I have been blessed in that I know a lot of people in this community, but I know there are a lot of people that I don't know, and I fully intend to go and meet them.
I love that. I love you're like, I am ready. So come up, say what's up. Let's meet each other. Get your campaign sides for your yard going.
Absolutely.
So that we can start getting that out there. Kristi, I'm wishing you luck for the election. The election is going to be on March the 5th.
Correct.
And this is a very, very important people's election. So you have got to make sure you're voting. I take pride in I was registered at 18 and I vote every year. That's another thing I think a lot of people that turn 18 don't get registered to vote.
Right.
So please make sure you're registered to vote so that you can have a say and get yourself educated. And that's exactly what Kristi wanted to do today. And Thank you so much for sharing, and good luck for March 5th election for the Nueces County District Attorney, and good luck with everything.
Thank you so much, Coco. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.